everybody, and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle, and this is an episode of New Music Friday, the third in the series where I talk about the latest prog news, give updates on the channel, and then react to a few prog singles. I've been really enjoying this show and this format, and I could tell from some of the comments and the views that I get on these episodes that this is pretty successful for my channel, so I'm actually really excited about it, and I'm going to keep doing this weekly show. I think it's a lot of fun to be able to talk about some of the latest prog news, what's happening in music that's exciting me, and hopefully you guys will join me along with the journey. And so I scoured the internet, I searched different prog sites to try to find the best news that I can find, things that are more relevant to me and the artists that I prefer and like, so it's going to be skewed towards my interests, but hopefully that provides some interesting content for you guys and maybe bring some attention to things. A lot of you will probably know a lot of this news because you probably follow a lot of the same prog sites that I do, but maybe you'll be interested to hear my take on it and how I feel about it and just have it all condensed in one place. So first on the docket that I saw the Marillion weekends are returning. There's some dates in 2022 for the Marillion weekends in Poland, Sweden, the UK, Portugal, and Canada. So just thought that was cool. I know Marillion's a huge band, and it's cool. Once again, I've kind of been talking about it in my last couple episodes of it's kind of cool to hear about live things returning and to see that prog shows will continue beyond the pandemic. So I just like to bring that stuff up to build up excitement for these kinds of opportunities. And I know a lot of fans really love that. And I kind of just wanted to give the opportunity to talk a little bit about Marillion, which I've had kind of an interesting relationship with throughout my prog appreciation. I've really, I don't know how to put it. I've always tried to appreciate them, but I never could really get into Marillion. And I've tried many times throughout the years. I've listened to a lot of their albums, and some of the stuff I do actually like. I really like Marbles. I really like Brave. I like some of their early Fish stuff, but by and large, I'm just not as passionate about it as some people seem to be. So it's a band that I'll continually keep trying out, keep hearing their new albums, and see if something really sparks my attention. But you know, that's kind of been my journey with them. So if you have some recommendations of like the ultimate Marillion songs or Marillion albums, I would like to hear about those. Maybe I'll put some emphasis on some of that in my attempt to like Marillion. I do like them, but my attempt to really become a huge fan of them. I feel like I'm on the verge, and I should be based on all the other artists I like, but there's some kind of barrier keeping me from just being a full out fan. But they're also talked about how they're working on their new album. The new album, they say, is coming along very well. All songs are written and arranged and will be away this week at Real World, utilizing the amazing acoustic spaces and first-rate equipment. So they seem really excited about the new music that they're working on, and so hopefully we'll see new music from Marillion in the upcoming future. So I think that's exciting, and I'll be checking it out, maybe reviewing it, depending on how I feel about it when I hear it, and maybe I'll be a converted Marillion fan. We'll see. Another cool live news kind of thing that I saw in passing was that there's a tour for Bent Knee, who's a modern progressive rock band, kind of quirky, avant-garde-esque, new prog, female-fronted, and they're just a band that I've really appreciated in the past several years. A little bit off-kilter for me, a little bit kind of outside of my usual realm, but I appreciate what they're doing. I think it's super creative, and a lot of their live videos that they've shown on YouTube and stuff have really captured me, so I really appreciate their work. So just to see them doing more and coming out with more material, I believe they're coming out with a new album later this year. But the tour I thought was funny is being called "The World is a Beautiful Place and I Am No Longer Afraid to Die." Kind of a funny riff, I think, on emerging from the lockdowns and going back out and trying to get back into life and trying to reappreciate the world that we haven't been able to really go out and explore for a while. So I thought that was cool. So just thought I'd mention that. Another single that I saw came out today was a single, "Fix the Air" by Between the Buried and Me. I struggle with Between the Buried and Me. I'm not a big fan of the heavier end of the spectrum of the metal world, the kind of extreme metal that they do, and the growling, heavy vocals and stuff. That's just not my thing. I appreciate some of like Opeth is kind of the farthest I've gone in that lane, but I know they're a notable prog band, and their new album Colors 2, which is from the title, a sequel to their Colors album, which is one of their biggest, comes out, looks like in August 20th. So for fans of the band, that's really exciting news. I'm still struggling. I listened to the single. It's more of that heavy, growling, heavy death metal kind of stuff that's just not really for me. There's an interesting drum break kind of in the middle that I thought was really creative and clever. It's really tough for me because they do so much creative, clever instrumental stuff, and it's hard for me to reconcile that. Like, I really want to like that stuff, but then the growling vocals come in, and it's just really hard for me to accept. Maybe it's something I'll appreciate one day, but for now it's just a little bit too extreme for my tastes. I also wanted to highlight a couple new releases. The new freehand Steven Wilson makes for the classic Gentle Giant album came out today. I have both the vinyl and the CD Blu-ray 5.1 makes on order. Haven't arrived yet, so I can't really weigh in exactly on how it sounds and that stuff. I'm kind of hoping to do a review of that when all of that comes to me and do a big feature on the album. I've talked about it, of course, in my Gentle Giant rankings video, which I'm really proud of. I really want to steer everyone's attention towards it if you're a Gentle Giant fan. I'm sure most of you watching this, if you're a Gentle Giant fan, have seen it, but it's one that I was really proud of and I thought really came out well. So, and I really plan to do more ranking style videos like that. But that came out today, the Steven Wilson makes of the freehand album by Gentle Giant. I listened a bit in Apple Music. They have now a lossless music in Apple Music, so I was able to listen to it in pretty high res quality, and it was sounding really great in my headphones, and I really was appreciating what was going on there. So thought, that's an excellent prog release today that I thought was worth mentioning. The other one, maybe a bit more obscure, that's on my radar at least, is the new album Subjects by Scale the Summit, which I've talked a little bit about. I did a reaction to one of the songs from it from an earlier video. That was kind of a cool feature, and that was one of my favorite tracks from it. So I was listening to it this morning. It's very, adventurous, kind of progressive metal. Usually they're instrumental. All their records have been instrumental up to this point. But this album, they're kind of experimenting a bit and going out of that lane and having some vocalists on the album. So it's kind of providing a new texture and a new facet to the band. They've released, it's 8 different tracks, and each one features a notable singer that they are a huge fan of. The 2 that really stood out to me, of course, was the lead singer of Reign of Kendo on the one I've reacted to, Jackhammer Ballet, and then of course Ross Jennings from Haken is on one of the tracks, which is also great. So I'm still delving into it. I will feature it at some point, either as a solo review or maybe even part of a new music shuffle. I'm still kind of deciding how I feel about it. Sometimes with progressive metal of that style, it can be a bit samey throughout the record, and I'm looking for a little bit more variation, but I've only heard it through once, so I can't really judge it completely yet. But it's very adventurous metal. I love the guitar playing as kind of the feature of the album, I'd say. Very kind of a cool style and laid back, but also, it's an interesting style of metal because it's not over the top, like heavy crunch really in your face, but it's more of this kind of adventurous, it takes you on kind of a journey, adventure metal, if you will. So I appreciate it, and I think there's a lot to like on the record. So I'm still delving in. So I recommend checking that one out if you like that style, if you like kind of the metal side, but not too heavy, and kind of taking a trip and a journey through the music. So those are kind of the new releases that stood out to me. Please, if you know of new releases that maybe I didn't see, please post them in the comments and bring them to my attention, and maybe I'll feature them in next week's show. I'm trying to find as much as I can. I know there's stuff out there that, just isn't in my wheelhouse, but, maybe I've missed something as I've kind of combed and tried to find all the great new prog releases. So that's kind of the updates of the news section. More on the channel perspective, I thought this was a good week. I did my Sylvan 1 to 0 review, which came out this past week. Really love that record. The video hasn't got much attention, but that's kind of to be expected of these more obscure prog artists' reviews. Those aren't really my big hitters when it comes to videos. But, if you're interested in some great neo-prog from Germany, great new album that I really appreciated, I think that's a great review worthy of checking out. It was a lot of fun to talk about that one and to keep listening to it. And I'm still awaiting the vinyl coming soon, so that'll be cool to uncover that. And it's kind of fun because I listened to the album mostly in first listens through streaming services and things like that, because oftentimes I order the vinyl and it doesn't come till after the release date. So in order for me to be able to hear it, I hear it that way first. But then I get the package in, I get my vinyl, and it's like being able to re-experience the music in a totally new format. So it's kind of a fun way to do it. Maybe not ideal to have to wait for some of these pre-orders past the release date, but, it works out. Now that most of these albums come out on, as the Spotify or at Apple Music, it really helps to be able to do these. So that was the main video I released this week. Of course, I did a Jana Reacts last week to Kansas, which was a lot of fun. And there will definitely be a new Jana Reacts this upcoming Sunday. I have a great, really exciting new show coming tomorrow that I want to talk about. It's a show I did with my dad. We filmed it on Father's Day on last Sunday. And we talked about our 5 favorite progressive rock albums. And my dad's really the inspiration for me discovering progressive rock, so it was so cool to have him. He messaged me a few weeks ago and said, I was thinking about Father's Day, talking, to my sisters about it and so forth. And he said, really, I decided the one real wish I have for Father's Day is to do an episode of your show with you. He wanted to come on and guest with me and talk about music. So I told him, let's keep it simple. Let's just talk about our top 5 favorite albums. It kind of got long-winded. It's going to be a longer video, but kind of cool to get the dual perspectives, I hope, from someone who's younger and newer to the genre a little bit, maybe not newer to the genre, but likes kind of the newer side of it. And then someone who was around back in the 70s when it was at its peak, and who has a lot to say about the classic albums that came out in that period. So hopefully you guys check that out and enjoy that. It's really a lot of fun. So those are kind of the big things coming up. I'm doing something I'm a little bit nervous to put out there. I'm doing a new music shuffle, but centered on pop-centric music, which is a little bit scary for me to do that, because I know a lot of people who watch these shows probably are not into pop music whatsoever, or more purely prog based. But I thought there were some interesting new pop releases. I'm always trying to keep apprised of some of the latest things happening in all genres of music. So these are 3 albums, and they're not totally, I'm not covering something totally bubblegum pop that, is totally crazy. They're all kind of rooted in more experimental, more alternative, more rocky, but they lean pop compared to a lot of my prog reviews. So I'm nervous to put that out if I'll get some comments about how horrible that music is or whatnot. But hopefully some of you find interest in that, are willing to expand your tastes a little bit. So wanted to point your attention that way for upcoming review next week. And then things might be a little wonky for the show. I'm going on a vacation the week after, around 4th of July. So shows may be a little bit, shifted around. I'm hoping to keep close to the same schedule, but I'm trying to figure out how to record and edit and put out videos around that time. So it might be interesting. I might have a week off of a review. I try to put a review out every Tuesday, but this could be a week where I might have to skip it. But I'm going to try. We'll see how it works. So I just want to keep everyone informed about what's coming up. But after that, things should normalize and be back to their pretty typical schedule. So nothing too disruptive. So now I kind of wanted to get into some of the new singles this week. And the first one that really struck my attention is the new Leprous single. Now, these reactions that I'm doing, I'm still really figuring out how to do this, because I did a reaction to the new Neil Morse Band track last week. It was kind of a disaster. I had to go back in. I uploaded the whole thing and then it got totally blocked by them, and so I had to re-edit it and try to figure out a way to cut it up enough so that I wouldn't get blocked for it. And so I'm still figuring out. I like being able to present music in these shows, but I'm still trying to figure out how to do it in the best manner. And so it's tricky and I'm still working on it, but I might end up editing pretty heavily, more just giving clips and tastes and impressions rather than playing the full song to react to. That's might be the direction I go in. I don't know if that's disappointing to people or not. I'm not sure this is really the side of the show that most people care about anyways, but I really like doing it. So it's a tough kind of thing to reconcile. So, but I wanted to start with the new Leprous single. This is called Running Low from their album Aphelion, which is coming out August 27th. So this should be a pretty fun track to listen to. Like usual, I haven't heard this yet. I've been waiting to hear this till I did the show today. All right, so here's Running Low by Leprous. Let's take a listen. I'm loving this. Like, that kind of funky groove was just really excellent. The kind of slow build. His vocals are just next level amazing. I've always thought he was one of the best vocalists out there in the prog scene. This is really connecting with me. I like the band more and more as time goes on. It's just amazing. They're like creating a huge fan out of me. I wasn't too into them, their first several records, but Pitfalls was just a next level experience, and this is shaping up to be on that level. So I'm really excited. Just super emotional and just full of so much going on in the music. I really love this. So let's listen to this next level. So cool. I'm really into that. Man, we got like an album of the year contender potential. I mean, that's just one single, but man, so much going on there that I totally adore. I love the passionate, emotional vocals, all the orchestration. There's so much. There's horns. There's strings. There's all this stuff going on. Some even solos on those instruments. It's really interesting, and that kind of crazy, hard hitting, almost groovy thing in that chorus, and it's just that was really a cool masterpiece there. I really love that. And it's convinced me. I was on the fence if I should pre-order the album or not, because like I've said, Leprous is kind of, hit or miss with me perhaps. But based on the strength of that, I'm pre-ordering the album. Really exciting stuff. I'm excited to cover that when the album comes out later in August. That'll definitely be a solo review, no doubt about it. So really excited for that. And that was a great one. Please check out more Leprous. Hopefully you guys like that single as much as I do. All right, so now I'm going to feature the new Ross Jennings single. Ross Jennings is the lead singer of Haken, and he has a new solo album coming out later this year called A Shadow of My Future Self. And so I thought this would be a cool one to feature. It looks like it's his first foray into more pop-oriented music, but definitely prog-related. I know the single may be more poppy. The single's called Words We Can't Unsay, and it looks like he's doing a live stream event called Acoustic Shadows, July 23rd. So check that one out, where he's performing acoustic renditions of songs from the upcoming album. So sounds like a cool thing to be part of. I love those live stream kind of events that they're doing, and so really interested to hear what this sounds like. I have no real idea. I have a feeling it's more pop centric. But beyond that, I don't really know what his solo work would sound like, because this is his first foray into that. So I'm excited to hear it, and so I'm going to listen in on the new Ross Jennings single, Words We Can't Unsay. Cool. Yeah, totally as advertised. It's a pop centered song based around his vocals, and it sounds really cool. It's just very kind of nice and catchy and fun. I'm liking the mix here. It sounds really cool. I like the drum sound, and just it sounds like a really well produced album, so I'm really excited. I like this kind of music. It's cool to hear different variety. Sometimes Haken, they can lean a little crazy heavy all the time, but this kind of provides a new avenue for his vocals, which I think are really great. So this is really nice. So let's keep on trucking.
I should have up and left you. Wish I never existed. You've missed your chance to fix this. When the words I can't unsay differ from the ones I mean.
Ooh, some like horns or something there. That's really cool.
No making up with borrowed time. I start a fire just to melt all the icicles that froze your heart. Midlife, bending, jackknifed, shattered dreams. You gotta
That's so cool.
return, you gotta fail to succeed.
Woo!
I see you in a different light, and the laws that you attract, faith that's blind to me.
Kind of a slowed version. Really cool.
These are things I can't
And there's some cool like background vocals there too.
words we can't unsay.
Nice.
When the words I can't unsay differ from the ones I mean. You're the loop in my delay and the ghost in my machine. These are words we can't unsay.
All right. Very neat. Another great track there. I really like that. Very pop feel. I like kind of the section in the middle. It was really a cool, almost throwback 80s style. There's some horns in the mix. I liked a lot of his vocals. There was some cool like oohs and ahs he was doing in the background as well. I just thought it was really a cool sound and a cool vibe. That's what I like to hear, and kind of I wish more modern pop or modern rock was more of that. What was more like this, So it's cool hearing these progressive artists, delve into this side of their musical palette. So really enjoyed that one. Another really strong song that I really, really liked. So that'll be a fun album to look forward to, is the new Ross Jennings solo album. So, and that'll do it for the show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed what was here, and hopefully there was some news that was interesting to you and you like some of these songs. Please comment down below on anything that you really liked that came out this week, or that you really, some big news that you saw that maybe I didn't cover. Anything that's exciting you in the world of prog. So that's what it's all about. It's just about enjoying the music and being excited for all the cool stuff that's coming out, because it's really neat that there's great new music, great new things, and there's always something to explore and to find. So thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you like these style videos and you want to hear more. And thank you guys again. You guys are the greatest. I really appreciate my audience and for all of you subscribers. And thank you again, and enjoy the music.